We just finished up readings on 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter. And I've been thinking about the verse that says, love doesn't keep a record of wrong. And this is about forgiveness. So today, the message I'd like to share is about love and forgiveness. So I thought about some people in my life who particularly have exemplified love and forgiveness by the way they live their lives. And also people who have stood out in books that I've read that exemplify the love and forgiveness. One story I want to share to you today is from a book by Corrie ten Boom. And you might recognize Corrie ten Boom from readings of her. She and her family were Dutch, and she and her family provided a hiding place in their home, I believe it was Holland, for Jewish neighbors who were, if they hadn't hidden them, they would have been taken by the SS and sent off to concentration camps and exterminated. Well, eventually the hiding place was found, and so these Jewish people were taken off and exterminated. And then Corrie and her family eventually were taken away also. Corrie and her elderly father and her sister. Her sister and father died in the concentration camp due to the harsh conditions. Corrie at some time was miraculously freed. In fact, you might be interested in reading the book, The Hiding Place, that she wrote. It's just it's really very, very moving of what the experience in a German concentration camp was like and how her Christian faith got her through. So after she was freed, eventually she became a very powerful Christian speaker on how the Lord was with her in so many special ways during her horrendous experiences in the camp. And one of the stories she mentions that have always stuck with me is the time she was greeting people in line after she had spoken in Germany. This man approached her and said he had become a Christian. She looked at him, stared at him, and then she recognized he was one of the SS agents in that prison. She describes how very, very hard it was for her to reach out her hand and extend it to him. But that when she did, a peace came over her and she was able to forgive him. So I think if we put ourselves in that situation, could we forgive? I doubt very much if I'd be ready at that time. Forgiveness can really be hard sometimes in each of our circumstances. We face not as harsh as circumstances, but we face things. Some are ongoing, some are one-time experiences where it's very hard to forgive. I saved a quote I have had for a number of years. I think it's from the advice column, Dear Amy. And it's been really meaningful to me, and I look at it often. Forgiveness is a practice. And when we practice forgiveness, we get better at it. I'm going to say that again. Forgiveness is a practice. And when we practice forgiveness, we get better at it. We just need to keep practicing it. Over the years, there are certain people who have touched my life in a very negative way. Experiences with them, how they have treated me. And like in a work situation or with a person, these are people I trusted, and it made it all the more difficult. So we all have had some very hurtful experiences, and it's easy to hang on to those hurtful experiences. So I have prayed often that I would have the right attitude with letting my go of my hurts and truly forgive, so that if I would meet them sometime, I could model God's love and that I would have truly forgiven them. And this is something I can't do on my own. And this is why, I pray for God's Spirit to work within me. God is the only one who can change our hearts when we ask Him. And sometimes these things take time. It's like what I just mentioned. It takes practice. So don't be discouraged if, pray and say, well, I just felt the same way. We have also had people in our lives who have modeled God's love through their forgiveness and their ongoing love and forgiveness. Of course, Jesus is the perfect model for this, of how He forgave people. Give some thought to this during the week. I could name you people right now who have particularly touched my life with God's love and forgiveness, and I've seen it consistently in their lives. It's not like a one-time thing. And they touch other people's lives for Jesus by modeling this. And so just ask Him to help you do what you can on your own to be one of those people now who models God's love and forgiveness to others. In our Follow Jesus journal, there was a prayer called the Prayer to Love. And I'm going to read a part of that as our closing prayer today. Lord, thank you that your love does not take into account a wrong suffered. Lord, help us not to hold grudges, but to choose to forgive, even when it's difficult. Thank you for your unconditional love for each of us. Amen. Blessings to you.